I am Walter Elias Disney. Some of you met me as a signature that curled like a smile. Some of you met me through a mouse who whistled before anyone else in cartoons knew how. But before sound and color, before castles and fireworks, there was a boy with a pencil who believed that drawings could make work feel lighter. I was born in Chicago, raised on a farm in Marceline, Kansas, a place where seasons taught patience and chores taught responsibility. Cows don't care about your excuses. The whistle of a train could turn an ordinary afternoon into a promise. I filled margins with sketches, horses that ran better on paper than the real ones ever did after a long day. Back in Chicago, as a kid with a paper route, I learned the cost of ambition at 4 a.m. Ink-stained hands, cold steps, a clock that didn't negotiate. I studied nights at the Academy of Fine Arts, drew between deliveries, and learned a truth. Practice is what talent calls when it needs a ride. War came. I tried to join, too young. So I drove an ambulance in France, painting cartoons on the canvas where worry slept. A wounded world still laughed. That meant there was work for me. I started a studio in Kansas City, Laugh-O-Gram. We ran out of money faster than we ran out of ideas. Failure is not a villain if you make it a mentor. I packed a suitcase, a head full of plans, and a train ticket to Hollywood. My pockets were light. My stubbornness wasn't. With my brother, Roy, steady, careful, the kind of courage that balances checkbooks and dreams, we built again. We made Oswald the lucky rabbit for a distributor who taught me a painful lesson. If you don't own your character, someone else will. They took Oswald. They tried to take our team. On the train ride home, I drew a mouse in my notebook. Helpful eyes, round ears, mischief with manners. Mickey, not a rabbit with a new hat, but a principal in shoes. Optimism that doesn't feel naive, hustle that doesn't forget to whistle. We gave him a voice, my own at first, because the world needed cheerful sentences again. We synchronized sound when cartoons were still pantomime. People said it couldn't be done. We did it anyway. Steamboat Willie. The audience didn't just laugh, they leaned in. The future had a beat now. I wanted more than gags. Gags are fireworks. Story is sunrise. We built a studio around story meetings where drawings argued and learned to behave like people. We found the 9 old men, animators who could make a single eyebrow become Shakespeare. We invented the multiplane camera so forests could have depth and dreams could have parallax. Technology was never the point. Believability was. Then I made a decision that had bankers reaching for cold towels. A feature-length animated film. They called it Disney's Folly. I called it Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We mortgaged futures and swallowed fear. I watched animators teach gravity to skirts and timing to tears. On premiere night in 1937, when the mirror stopped being a prop and became a portal, the audience cried at drawings. That's when I knew we weren't in the joke business. We were in the feeling business. Mickey brought us to the door. Snow White opened it. People said we had invented the impossible. We had simply rehearsed it longer than they expected. But even joy needs stewardship. Roy kept the books honest, while I kept the dreams messy. We argued like brothers who loved the same future. He would say, "Walt, where does the money come from?" I would say, "Roy, from making something worth more than money." Then we'd both go back to work. He with numbers, me with storyboards that looked like topographical maps of emotion. We weren't finished. My head was full of color for a symphony of short films that would test what sound and image could do together. And I wanted a park, not a carnival that wears out by midnight, but a clean, friendly place where imagination doesn't have to apologize to parents or their shoes. A place where the trash cans are close enough that you never see trash. A place where the trains always arrive on time because they run on wonder. But before parks and symphonies, there were more characters to teach to breathe, more lenses to invent, more risks the size of skyscrapers. The Great Depression told us to be smaller. We decided to be clearer. If you give people a story that respects their heart and a world that respects their eyes, they forgive the price of the ticket. If you want to understand me, don't start with the mouse. Start with the meetings where an animator begged a teardrop to fall at the right beat. Start with the night janitor whistling hi-ho because he can't help it. Start with the train that carried a boy, then a mouse, then a company that learned to turn work into wonder. I'm Walt. I believe that adults are children with better calendars, and that the right drawing can make a hard day softer without lying about it. This was only the first chapter. A rabbit lost, a mouse found, sound unlocked, a feature that turned laughter into faith. The next chapters are color that sings, wartime films that serve, a fairy who learns to fly with belief and a little dust, a railroad that circles a dream, and a castle built so a father can watch his daughter ride a carousel without worrying about splinters. Drawings can build a country if you let them. Now, let me show you how.
A miracle is just a practice schedule you can't see. After Snow White, we weren't aiming to be bigger. We were aiming to be truer. The audience had cried at drawings. That meant animation could carry weight without losing light. So we sharpened our pencils and raised the bar, where even we had to squint to see it. Pinocchio, conscience with a hat. A wooden boy who wants to be real is not a children's story, it's a studio biography. We built Pinocchio to test how far a heart could travel inside paint and paper. Geppetto's workshop glowed like memory. Monstro moved like a building with bad manners. Water became a character. And Jiminy, a conscience with a hat, learned the timing of kindness. We tuned sincerity like a violin, never sugary, always earned. The world beyond our gates was tightening. Receipts didn't always cheer. I told the crew what I always tell them. We're not paid to chase applause. We're paid to deserve it. Fantasia, music with pictures, not pictures with music. I wanted to build a house where Bach could share a wall with Stravinsky, and a mouse could share a stage with a conductor. Fantasia was a handshake between sound and image, abstract color, comic relief, terror wrapped in elegance. We invented Fantasound, surround, before theaters knew the word. Because when the orchestra swells behind you, the screen stops being a rectangle and becomes a room. The accountants asked for jokes. I asked for immersion. Not every theater could carry the wires or the risk. That was fine. Sometimes you build a road a few years before the cars arrive. Bambi, nature learns to whisper. We walked deer trails with sketchbooks. We studied light in forests until it told us where it liked to sit. Bambi wasn't about animals talking. It was about silence talking. Snow that hushes, leaves that gossip, danger that doesn't announce itself with drum rolls. The animators learned to underact, to let an ear twitch replace a paragraph. When a certain scene arrived, you know the one, the room got very quiet. I reminded the team, we're not hurting children, we're telling them the truth gently. The trust we ask at the ticket booth must be repaid in honesty. Tools are just honest servants. You can't ask audiences to believe a world if your camera doesn't. The multiplane camera let us move through space instead of sliding across it. Foreground, midground, far trees, each on their own plane, each breathing when the wind says now. We wrestled with Technicolor not to show off, but to tune emotion. The blue of twilight that forgives, the red that warns, the gold that remembers. Effects teams made sparkles behave like physics and water act like an actor. We weren't inventing magic, we were borrowing from nature and returning it with interest. The story department, where hearts are edited. People think ideas arrive like birds. They arrive like drafts. We pinned story sketches on walls until the walls complained. We acted scenes ourselves, tripped over our own jokes, cut our darlings, saved a few in drawers for later. The note I gave most often was one word: simplify. Not simple, clear. If the audience has to guess the character's wish, we failed the scene. We kept the 9 old men very busy. Frank could make a smile tell 2 stories. Ollie could make a tear mean goodbye in 3 dialects. Milt could put authority in a wrist. Ward would slip mischief into a shadow and then pretend innocence. There were more than animators. They were actors with pencils. The studio as a school. We built classrooms inside the studio. If you can animate a hand, you can animate a heart. But first, you must learn weight, rhythm, and why a walk reveals character. We screened films from around the world, paused on frames, argued about arcs, and sent people back to redraw until the paper learned the scene's grammar. I hired people braver than me in the places I was weak. A leader isn't the best draughtsman. A leader is the best gardener, pruning, watering, making sure the sun and the deadlines hit in the right amounts. Shorts that experiment on purpose. Between the giants, we ran shorts like laboratories. Water effects here, stylized backgrounds there, a new gag rhythm somewhere else. The Sorcerer's Apprentice let Mickey learn ambition and consequences in 8 minutes. The Old Mill taught the multiplane to whisper. Each short paid tuition for a feature that hadn't been boarded yet. Color, sound, and the invisible handrail. Rules we wrote on the wall, then rewrote. Color is emotion, not decoration. Music is a character. Treat it with billing. Movement is thought made visible. If you don't know what the character thinks, your scene will wiggle and say nothing. Storm clouds over the ticket booth. The world shifted. Markets closed. Budgets argued with dreams. We tightened belts without loosening standards. When we had to make a dollar stretch, we made sure it didn't squeak on screen. The audience must never feel the mortgage. We learned a grown-up lesson. Sometimes the best work arrives when the world isn't applauding. That's not tragedy. That's training. Why we keep going? Because a child laughs the same in every language. Because a tired father in a dark theater deserves a story that tells him he's not alone. Because the pencil is a small tool with a very large map inside it, and we haven't drawn all the roads yet. Snow White proved we could move hearts. Pinocchio, Fantasia, and Bambi proved we could move truth through art without scaring it away. The next chapter asks us to serve in a different uniform, then to return to ballrooms and pumpkin coaches, and to build a place where families can walk inside the movies they love. I'm still the boy with a pencil and a train to catch, only now the train carries a studio, and the whistle sounds like an overture. I'm Walt. We have more to build.
When the world goes to war, even cartoons put on uniforms. Serving with ink and film, studios turned into factories of instruction and morale. We made shorts that taught soldiers how to fly, how to save fuel, how to aim. We made victory through air power to argue an idea that could shorten the fight. Donald Duck took on tyrants. Pluto learned patience under rations. It wasn't glamorous, but it was useful, and useful keeps the lights on when receipts do not. We stitched features into packages. Saludos amigos, The Three Caballeros, Make Mine Music, Fun and Fancy Free, Melody Time, Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Laboratories disguised as entertainment. Each segment paid tuition for the day we could afford a single story again. Cinderella, hope with deadlines. The war ended. Our balance sheet still fought. We needed a feature the audience could hold like a handrail. Cinderella was that. Craft polished until it shone. Music that hummed on the walk home. Characters drawn with kindness instead of syrup. If you listen closely, you can hear a studio willing itself back to belief. Alice, Pan, Tramp, Beauty. Curiosity, flight, romance, and grandeur. Alice in Wonderland danced with nonsense like it had manners. Peter Pan taught shadows to behave like actors and children to clap when they wanted a fairy to live. Lady and the Tramp took cinema wide and put love at canine eye level. Cinema Scope let spaghetti become choreography. Sleeping Beauty became a cathedral of line and color. Ivan Earle's backgrounds like tapestries that breathe. Animation matured without losing its laugh. Elegance learned to waltz with whimsy. Television, a window and a wallet. A new glowing box entered living rooms. We didn't fear it. We programmed it. The Disneyland TV show invited families behind the curtain while it quietly financed a dream outside of town. The Mickey Mouse Club gave children a club that didn't charge dues, just attention and decency. Television wasn't the enemy of theaters, it was a trailhead, and I had a park to build at the end of the trail. Disneyland. Clean streets, honest wonders. I took my daughters to carnivals and wondered why I had to apologize to their shoes. I wanted a place that felt clean, friendly, and believable. A city of stories with good manners. Anaheim gave us land. We gave it a berm to keep the outside out and the imagination in. We laid out lands like chapters. Main Street, USA is a prologue that smells like popcorn and progress. Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland. 4 compass points for curiosity. Forced perspective on the castle made wonder taller than budgets. Trash cans every few steps made litter too tired to try. We called employees cast members because show business cares about the audience even when the spotlight is off. The opening day was a mad rehearsal in real time. Heat, crowds, paint that was still drying in places we asked the camera not to look. That's all right. First shows teach you your second act. By sundown, families walked together on purpose through a place that insisted the world can be tidy without being dull. On stage versus backstage. We protected sightlines like secrets. A cowboy should never walk through Tomorrowland on his lunch break. If a story leaks, the spell does too. Backstage is where tractors and trash go. On stage is where fathers pick up daughters so they can see the parade and both feel 10 years younger. Trains, rivers, and roads that curve. I put a train around the park because trains promise going somewhere even when you stay seated. Rivers bent to hug islands because straight lines are for spreadsheets. Benches faced parades because rest is part of the show. Why a park? Because movies end when the lights come up. A park keeps telling the story as long as you keep walking. We learn to choreograph crowds, to cue smells, fresh waffle cones or excellent ushers, to hide speakers in rocks that sing,
Engineering became hospitality with calculus. We weren't finished. Television had more roads to pave. Animation had new tools to adopt. And an even larger dream wanted maps. A place where tomorrow could be prototyped at full scale, where cities learn to behave like neighbors. I'm Walt. Disneyland proved that stories can be walked. The next chapter asks whether cities can be taught to care.
Television wasn't a threat, it was a bridge. We walked families across it, week after week, toward bigger dreams. Xerography, spots, and a new line. Animation needed new shoes. Budgets pinched, schedules sprinted. Xerography let animators' pencil lines go straight to the screen, energy intact, cost tamed. 101 Dalmatians danced with dots and modern design. London's angles felt brisk, the comedy crisp. Technology didn't cheapen the craft, it freed it. Mary Poppins, when live action shook hands with a chalk drawing. I wanted to see if a nanny could carry a musical and a message at once. Julie Andrews floated, Dick Van Dyke tapped, and animation waltzed with real actors like they'd practiced together for years. Mary Poppins became proof that imagination is not genre-bound, it's engineering with heart. A spoonful of sugar didn't hide medicine, it made truth singable. Walt Disney World and a bigger canvas. Anaheim taught us to choreograph wonder. Florida offered space. I didn't plan just a second park, I planned a prototype, a place to test transportation, zoning, utilities, weather, and human behavior at scale. We called it Walt Disney World because I was staking my name on a bet that design and decency could teach a whole region how to grow gracefully. EPCOT, a working model of tomorrow. Not a World's Fair frozen in time, a city that updates itself. Experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Efficient transit, modular workplaces, neighborhoods tuned to people, not cars, trash and deliveries in utilidors below, beauty and function shaking hands in public. I didn't want a museum of gadgets. I wanted a habit of progress families could live inside. Goodbyes, handled with care. Illness shortened my calendar. Colleagues carried meetings forward, sketches still warm at their edges. You don't cancel a vision, you assign it. The team kept building, parks, films, plans with my fingerprints and their hands. Remember this gently, many hearts lived here. What I want you to keep, story is a service. If it doesn't help, redesign it. Details are where trust lives, even the back of the drawer. Tools obey taste. New tech must serve believability. Parks are stories you can walk, cities can learn from them. Children deserve respect, adults deserve wonder. Keep moving forward. Curiosity is a compass you can hand to anyone. If you ever hear a whistle and feel lighter, that's probably me. A boy on a train, pockets full of pencils, still betting that tomorrow can be drawn, engineered, and shared. I'm Walt. The dream was never a castle. The dream was people who believe they can build one together.